Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. Today we are going to take a look at our third Summit Collection baby dinosaur. This is unfortunately the last baby dinosaur that I have currently to look at from Summit Collection, but I thought it was another really cool looking release from Summit Collection, so I absolutely could not wait to show it to you guys here on the channel. It is another, again, hatching dinosaur, but yet again in another position. Every single figure so far as these hatchlings have been in different positions, and they continue to come up with different ideas as far as the way the dinosaur should be displayed and portrayed hatching from the egg. And this one, he has almost like a kind of an adorable look, like he's just sort of chilling, relaxing a little bit, just lounging back as he's been having one heck of a day trying to hatch from his egg. So the overall appearance of this one is a little bit humorous, but also quite adorable at the same time. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get a closer look at this right now. So starting up here at the head sculpt of our baby dinosaur, you can once again see some really nice scaling to the figure overall, although this one has a very different look to it than the previous figures have as far as the scales go, because the previous few figures kind of have had like numerous varying sizes of scales, and although you do see that here, especially like some light, softer scales there around the eye, but once you actually come out into the dinosaur itself, a lot of the scales seem to be pretty large overall, so it, in my opinion, insinuates that this is definitely a different species than the previous two, but again, we don't know for sure exactly what species it was meant to portray, as they don't include an actual species name with the figure. But again, I think the scales and everything as far as the sculpt work here on the head goes looks really nice, and one thing they've done a little differently with this one is they've actually given it a nice light wash as opposed to the darker wash that the last two seem to have had. But this one, again, has a very nice light wash, so it's kind of a nice change of pace and a little bit different to give a little bit of variation to the figures. You can also see the teeth sticking out of this one a little bit. They're just ever so slightly present there, sort of giving like almost a little bit of a grumpy look, like I'm trying to relax, get away from me and my egg sort of a look to the figure, and I do quite like that aspect as well. Again, a little bit of adorable to your baby dinosaur is definitely not a bad thing, that's for sure. The eyes, once again, are painted with a nice yellowish color, kind of have like that slit-like pupil, but there's also a little bit of brown applied in the eyes as well to give it, once again, some more variation of the eye color, giving it just a little bit of a more realistic look as far as I'm concerned, and I do really quite like that. They've also darkened the eye area, again, around the eye to sort of elaborate that area. This dinosaur, once again, is a greenish color, but it's almost like a bluish green, so it has a little bit of a different look, again, in that aspect as well, and it also has some, like, sort of black streaks that run up over the head of the dinosaur. Some really cool paint work on this one. I definitely like the paint scheme they've gone with. It's nothing overly flashy, and again, being a hatchling, you would think it would be a darker coloration like this, because it's going to have to hide and kind of evade predators and sort of sneak around, so that's nicely portrayed throughout this figure. You can also see that just like the previous figures, it also has a very nice gloss coat to it, a very nice realistic shine to it. Again, if a dinosaur were hatching here, a baby dinosaur would definitely have that glossy look to it, that wet look, so that's really beautifully portrayed as well. Once you move down into the neck, you can see some pretty nice detailing there, but the scales pretty much just look like they did up there on the head, because again, this has like almost the same style of scaling throughout the entire figure. You can see some really nice movement here, kind of with some skin wrinkles there in the neck, and I'm willing to bet, yes, you can see that same sort of look over here again, but once you get down into the body, again, the arms are just kind of chilling on the stomach, the legs are just kind of sitting there, and you can see the tail curving through, so that's why I say he really looks like he's just relaxing and hanging out now after he's just exerted a ton of energy while trying to hatch, and he looks like he's just ready to chill now for a few minutes. But you can also see some nice sculpt work here in the stomach region, lots of really nice skin folds going on, and a nice white coloration, but it has a little bit of a mixture of like browns and stuff all over the stomach, giving it some nice color variation, but it looks really cool, and again has that nice wet look like everything else in here does. Really beautiful sculpt work there as far as the leg. You can see the leg sticking out a little bit, nice scales. Very nice tail right there, kind of creeping through. And the hands look really nice as far as the sculpt work goes. Really beautifully painted nails again there in that area. The other areas inside the egg also have like that kind of yolky type of a look. So that area looks quite realistic as well. Just like the previous eggs, the egg pretty much looks the same as far as the sculpt and paint goes. Really beautifully textured appearance to it. Lots of nice cracks, very realistic cracks, and everything as the dinosaur is hatching. So the overall set looks extremely nice, very beautifully done, and once again another beautiful hatchling from the Summit Collection. As far as a size goes, for a width, you are looking again about the 3.5-inch range or 9 centimeters, and for a height about 4.5 inches or around 11.5, maybe closing in on 12 centimeters, somewhere in that range. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line next to our hatchling dinosaur, and you have a pretty good idea that this one, again, looks like it's right around the same size range as the last two, because they all have been this kind of similar size, with it's looking really impressive as far as a hatchling goes, but they're not too large, they're not too small, they're pretty much like a perfect size for a hatchling figure. You should have a pretty good idea of that next to these figures, and to give you another idea of the size, here are all three of these Summit Collection hatchling figures that I have so far. All three look extremely, extremely cool, and even more so next to each other. Once again, you could probably make one heck of a large nest full of hatchling dinosaurs if you purchased numerous of these Summit Collection hatchlings, but looking at them here together, they definitely look really awesome. So this Summit Collection hatchling dinosaur is another really awesome release from the Summit Collection. I really think the sculpting of this one is quite nicely done, and having such a different appearance than the previous two, I think it gives it a little bit more of a unique look, but at the same time, a really cool appearance. I like the detailing overall. I think it looks really cool. The pose on the dinosaur also looks really nice, as he kind of just looks like he's chilling and laying back and relaxing as he's trying to hatch. The head sculpt definitely looks very different than the previous two, so it definitely looks like it's a different species of dinosaur. Compared to the last two, I'm not again sure what species it is meant to portray, but it definitely looks like a different species as opposed to the last two. The actual painting of the figure as well looks really cool. A very nice bluish green type of a paint has been applied to this, so it has a little bit of a different look. The last two have been more of a green. This has a sort of a mixture of like bluish green. It's a little bit of a weird coloration, but I think it looks really nice and actually quite cool on this figure overall. Something that I would like to see, like a adult version of this sort of painted with this color scheme, I think could look really cool. It also has like some black stripes that run throughout the body here and there, and a nice darker black that sort of borders around the eye to elaborate the eye. The eye is really nice, bright and beautiful looking, with that really nice yellowish coloration, and then having like a little mixture of like brown throughout. So again, a really nicely sculpted, really nicely painted figure. The egg as well looks very realistic, very nicely sculpted and painted, very beautiful textured appearance to the egg, and very realistic looking as well overall. So once again, another awesome hatchling here from the Summit Collection. That makes 4 for 4 as far as these Summit Collection figures go, and the overall appearance of them, I've loved each and every one so far. I do have one Summit Collection figure left to review for you guys until I am completely out of Summit Collection figures for the time being, but I will hope to make sure that I change that in the very near future. Again, if you want to pick this up, I will include a link in the description for you guys to head over to the Summit Collection website, where you can purchase this or any of the other baby dinosaurs for yourself. So make sure you follow that link. Head on over there and buy yourself some baby dinosaurs or even some adult dinosaurs, whatever you prefer. But also make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.